All right. Hey, Shalom. Shalom. Kwame Asha'Allah. Just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that do teach well. And I've taught me this truth. To you I say Shalom, and Shalom unto the hopeful elect. Yeah, so, this is just some news. This is some serious news. And right off the bat, when I looked at the headline, I just thought of Revelation chapter 13, verse 2 specifically, and also Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 16. I just thought of that, man, because the reason why you're seeing Russia flex its muscle the way it is, it's not only just for World War III, but they are going to be the end of this so-called white man society. And they're also going to bring that final destruction to the nation of Israel, where you so-called Jews live. And we're in the midst of that. It can pop off at any moment. And yes, we do know that there are certain prophecies that need to be fulfilled before this happens, but we're in the midst of all this happening. All right? It could happen at any moment, man. The chip is already here. The only thing now, it just needs to be made mandatory. So, at any moment, shit can hit the fan, for lack of better words. But this is very serious. So it says here, express.co.uk. I'll put a link in the description. Also, this was posted by Brother Shema in the group chat, and I'll also post a link to his channel. That brother's very consistent and diligent when it comes to doing the work. He's always bringing you lessons daily, and it's going into prophecy. Lord willing, I'll put a link in the description to that brother's channel. Anyways, it says Russian nuclear submarine spotted off UK coast sparks emergency defense meeting. The Prime Minister has been given a top secret briefing after a Russian nuclear submarine was identified off the coast of Scotland. It comes as President Vladimir Putin vowed to punish the West for giving Ukraine long-term missiles and a 40 billion euro loan. That's right, euro loan. 40 billion euro loan using frozen Russian assets. So yeah, man, and that's a punishment, a form of punishment. And that just shows, man, keep provoking the bear. You keep poking the bear, and eventually he's gonna wake up and come out of hibernation and get nasty. And that's what we're seeing. Russia being that bear. Right? They're that bear, man, the Russian bear. You don't want to provoke a bear and make it angry. It can get really nasty. Okay. So it says, Kazan, a state-of-the-art Yasin-class submarine, was detected on June 5th after an RAF Poseidon P-8 anti-submarine aircraft dropped sonar buoys used to detect subsurface activity at depth. An RAF maritime surveillance plane tracked the sub as it headed up the west coast of Ireland to Scotland, passing close to Britain's nuclear naval base at Faslane. Military commanders feared the loitering 13,800-ton vessel was probing for weaknesses on NATO's extreme flank. Yeah, that's right. So, probing for weakness, and they're going to attack real soon. The Lord is going to use them. But this is very serious. Keep your eye on this. Even though nothing happened yet, keep your eye on it. So it says news of the Russian vessel's location was passed to the permanent joint headquarters in Northwood. With both the Prime Minister and Defense Secretary informed, the Express can exclusively reveal. Kazan was expected to go to Venezuela before landing in Commonwealth nation Guyana, where Royal Navy patrol ship HMS Trent was recently deployed as a show of support against increasing border belligerence by Russia supporting Venezuela. The Russian president has reacted with fury at the provision of American Army Tactile Missile System ATACMS rockets to Ukraine and a loan. In a briefing last week, Julian Smith, the U.S. NATO ambassador, said Washington, D.C. may review its policy of not allowing the ATACMS to target mainland Russia, adding, we will continue to assess and adapt to Ukraine's ever-evolving needs. So, yeah, they're still going to keep provoking the bear. We don't care. We're still going to support. Well, keep doing that. And then, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yashai, He's going to use Russia, which is Ogog, to release his fury, or to show his fury, right? So, hey, man, the Lord is a consuming fire, and he's going to bring forth destruction through the third woe, right? The third woe, which is World War III, which means thermonuclear destruction. And we know Russia has nukes. They have nukes. They have weapons of mass destruction, and they're gonna use it, man. Remember, Vladimir Putin is in the business of playing nuclear football. He has a nuclear suitcase with 2 guards on standby, ready to detonate. All right, with launch codes and everything. So he's into nuclear football. Anyways, man, it says on Friday, members of the G7 agreed to the 40 billion euro loan to be financed by interest accruing from frozen Russian assets in the West. Around 240 billion euros in assets from Russia's central bank was frozen as part of Western sanctions shortly after the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. That's right, man. And they're angry. They're pissed off. This also goes into putting hooks in my jaw, man. Right. Getting angrier and angrier, Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. When you put sanctions on a nation, and you freeze their assets and you freeze their money, you pretty much you're trying to destroy that country. That's what you're doing. So what do you think they're gonna do? How do you think that nation is going to react? They're gonna fight, right? So that's what you're doing, man. That's terrible. But then again, it's prophecy. This has to happen. Anyways, let me get some scriptures. Let's go into let's go into the New Testament. Let's go into Revelation chapter 13. I really want to go into verse 2, but I'm going to start from verse 1 anyways, for edification. So this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. The beast from the sea. And it says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Right, and so, what is this beast? The beast with 7 heads and 10 horns is pretty much an amalgamation of the top kingdoms that are ruling in this modern biblical time, this modern world that we're living in, right? So it represents the major ruling kingdoms, starting with America, okay? So the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns pretty much represents NATO and the EU. Okay, it represents NATO and the EU, and you can go into Revelation, the 17th chapter, to get a better understanding of it, right? So, and also this same beast, it has ties to the ancient world. Its origins begin in the ancient world, beginning with Rome, and the tributary states that were under Rome. Okay. So you had, it was the Greeks, the British, right? Germania Minor, Germania Major, France, the Spanish, right? So all those kingdoms and those nations that paid tribute, that were under ancient Rome back then. Okay, so those are the same kingdoms coming back in the spirit. All right. And America is Rome in the spirit. Okay, they are Rome, spiritually Rome. Now, let's get to Revelation 17. So this is Revelation chapter. This is all good. But you know what? I'm just gonna get to the point, because the whore that sitteth upon many waters is America. So let's get Revelation chapter 17, verse 3. Let's start from there. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Wow. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of fornication. Yeah, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. Yeah, and yeah, it's full of abominations, full of blasphemy, and it does have a golden cup in her hand, and it is full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. What does that simply mean? It's going into her wine, which is her philosophies. And what does America stand for? Democracy, religion, idolatry, homosexuality, rape, robbery, murder, lies, adultery, covetousness, right? That's the philosophy that America goes or promotes and pushes and sells to the whole world. All right, so that's what it is. And guess what? The Lord's tired of it, man. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. And so the Lord, man, is fed up of this place. And that's why he's going to use Gog to bring forth that final destruction. Okay. But yeah. Okay, so this is going into that beast. By the way, the 10 horns, they also represent the common market of the European Economic Community. And I believe the acronym is called EEC. And I believe that was brought forth back in the late 50s. I think it was 1957 or 1958. I think it was that. And that's called the EU today. Okay, that's known as the EU, which is the European Union. And 10 horns, I believe it goes into France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, of course, Spain and Portugal, England, Germany, and I think Belgium. Right, I think Belgium. But yeah, hopefully I named them all. It's been a while since I looked at the chart and I went into that. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, man, that's the 10 horns, the EU. And yes, there's other nations that are joined on, but those are the main ones specifically. Okay. Now let's go back into Revelation chapter 13, verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Beautiful. And there's a lot in here. What is the beast that was like unto a leopard? That simply represents Alexander the Great, the goat, which is spoken of in Daniel the 7th chapter, specifically Daniel 7 and 6. And that's what they like to say civilization began with the Greeks, but we know that's where Edomite civilization began, because there were other civilizations that were before the Greeks, but we know that's where Edomite civilization began. It started with Alexander the Great. And why is that? Because Alexander the Great was that ruler that came out of Esau, Edom, that united the Greeks. He united everybody together. And then that's when you began to see evils began to multiply. Right? So it really started with Alexander the Great. Anyways, let's go into Daniel chapter 7, verse 6 here. And it says here, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. And the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Beautiful. So yeah, we know that leopard is Alexander the Great, and the 4 wings that are on his back represents his 4 generals. I believe it was Ptolemy, Seleucid, Lysimachus, and Cassander. Right? Those are the 4 generals that were under him. And after Alexander died, they put crowns upon their heads, and they spread out into the world, and that's when evils began to multiply, starting with their posterity, their sons, when they took over after them. And if you want to get more specific, I suggest you go into Daniel the 11th chapter, and also First Maccabees, the 1st chapter, and start from the 1st verse and read all the way down to the 9th verse. Matter of fact, let me pull it up. Right. So let's get First Maccabees. First Maccabees chapter 1. Let's start at 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, which is in Cyprus, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. That's right. So he took down the second beast. Now this is going into the third beast. He's that third beast, that third empire. Okay. And by the way, the Persians were very powerful. The Persians and the Medes, they were powerful. They're the ones that took down Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, or the son after. Well, really, they took down his son, right? That ruled after him. But yeah, okay, they were very powerful. But then they got taken down. So anyways, it says here that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. That's right. So he reigned as the first one over Greece. So he united all the Grecians. You know, and there's a reason why they call you Greece, because you people are very greasy, man. Very grimy. You Greeks are very grimy, man. And what you stand for and what you promote and what you brought forth over the whole world. You know, we're still feeling the effects of Hellenization to this very day. And Hellenization is a cancer, man. That shit is very toxic. Man, you see it all over the Caribbean with Bacchanalia, with Carabana. Hey, that's coming up. The spirit of Carabana is coming up. Bacchanal, which goes back to Bacchus, man. Very wicked, man. So, hey, man, you Grecians, you're very, very greasy. Greasy. Funny thing, the scripture says that his words were smoother than oil. And soft like butter, right? I think it was either smoother than oil and soft like butter. So these Edomites, man, they're very, very greasy, grimy, and very slippery, man. That's why this world is in such a rut. So it says here, verse 2, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. That's right, he was mighty. He was very strong and powerful. Mighty man. And went through to the ends of and he was a homosexual too. Or bisexual. Same thing. Verse 3, and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. That's right. So, you know, he took over the earth. The earth got quiet. They were shook. At that time when he was ruling, he was known as he would be labeled the hammer of the earth. You know, he would just consume nations and eat them like food, man. Like food. Serious. And because of that, he got very proud. He got very proud. Which happens, you know, men get corrupted through power, right? Verse 4, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die. And, you know, that's all it takes, man, especially if you're a mortal man in flesh. You know, it only takes one thing to bring you down because you're so fragile and weak. The Lord can give you a sickness. He can give you a plague. He can give you the plague of the mind. He can do anything to bring you down. And you're going to fall when the Lord wants you to fall. So it just shows you, man, it was his time to fall. Right? Just like how America's going to fall. They're going to fall. Okay, you're going to fall, man. It's going to be very easy. You're going to fall like all the other previous kingdoms that were before you, right? You're going to fall miserably, and you're going to have to subject yourself and pay homage to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's just how it is. Everybody will bend the knee. So anyways, verse 6, wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years, and then died. And his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them. Many years and evils were multiplied in the earth. And rightfully so. Many evils were multiplied because they're the sons of the wicked. And that's pursuing to Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. You know, that's why it says evils were multiplied on the earth, because they are the border of wickedness, man. Wherever they go, wickedness manifests itself, man. That's why you got gay bars. That's why you got democracy. That's why you got idolatry, covetousness, murder, adultery running rampant all over the world. And that started with these Greeks, man. These greasy Greeks, right? Matter of fact, we get Malachi 1 and 4. This is Malachi chapter 1 verse 4 here. Now it says here, Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of armies. They shall build, but I will throw down. That's right, you built up America through slavery and genocide and all your wickedness, right? Going into Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, then stolen lands, right? You took things that were not yours, and you built up a city with blood, right? So now he's going to throw you down, okay? And the Lord is against you, America, and he's going to use your own people to take you down, starting with Russia, Gog. O Gog, before their eyes, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. The Lord's going to do it with Gog, okay? So it says here, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. That's right. So he has a righteous anger towards the nation of Edom. And so pretty much the Lord, he doesn't like Edomites. And he doesn't like Greeks. He doesn't like Romans. He doesn't like Americans either. He doesn't like you. He's against you. So this proves, man, that you are the wicked man, because you are the border of wickedness. And that starts with Esau, Edom. So it only makes sense that evils were multiplied on the earth when the Greeks took over, because they are the sons of Edom. Okay? And like I said earlier, we're still feeling the effects of Hellenization, Romanization. We're still feeling it, man. Hell, I grew up as a Grecian before I came into this truth. I was all into the game. You know, I went to Caravana. Right? I experienced all of that. That was wicked as hell, man. And that's a Greek custom. Those are all Greek customs, man. So, hey, man, we have a lot to unlearn too, coming out of Egypt. And we're going to make a mass exodus again, pursuing to Revelation, the 18th chapter and the 4th verse. Salakia. Yeah, right? So, we have a lot to unlearn coming out of this captivity. But yeah, anyways, let me move on. So, let's go back to the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 13, verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. Beautiful. And the feet, whereas the feet of a bear represents the Russians. And that's what we're focusing on, because that's why I brought out this article, going into the Russians. Now, when you look at the feet, right, the feet of a bear is Russia, obviously, but, you know, the feet of an animal or anything, it pretty much just represents the end of a society, the end of something, right? And that's what we're going into. The Lord is going to use the Russians to bring down you so-called white people, man. And he's going to bring that final blow to the nation of Israel, where you gutter rats live, you so-called Jews. And you can find that in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, which I spoke of earlier. So let me pull that up. You know, so this is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 16. And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. That's right. So that just proves the point. Prove what I said earlier about how the Lord is going to use Gog, which is Russia, to bring forth that final blow to this so-called white man society. And how is he going to do it? He's going to do it through thermonuclear destruction. He's going to take down you so-called Jews in the land of Israel today. He's going to blow you up. And he's going to blow up different parts of the world, and he's going to blow up America too. Right? So he's going to use you Edomite to take you guys out. So that also proves that your blessing is your own curse too, that he gave you. By the sword by the sword thou shalt live. That's going to be to your own downfall. Your own blessing is your own curse as well. And it shows that you Edomites, you're divided. Right? You're divided. I believe that goes into Matthew chapter 12, verse 26. Satan will cast out Satan. Right? Matter of fact, let me get that, man. This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 26. And it says here, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? That's right. So, hey man, you're divided against yourself, man. You guys are not all thinking the same way, right? You all can't come together and set your differences aside and come to one consent. Right? No, you can't do that. You guys are against each other. So then how can you prosper? How can you have a kingdom? Right? So Edom is against Edom. So this shows you Esau, Edom is divided against themselves. So they cannot be a strong nation, right? All right. So the Lord is going to use Gog to take you down. To take you down, okay? To take you down. There's nothing you can do about it. All right, so let me go back and let's finish up. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 2. So, yeah. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Well, so that says a lot there, right? The lion's mouth. And pretty much the lion's mouth, or the lion in general, it pretty much represents the United Kingdom or Great Britain. And you know, what does a lion's mouth also represent? It represents its power. And how do you know that Britain is a lion? Because you got to go back and look at the coat of arms. You know, that British coat of arms, it has a lion on it, which it really goes back to the Israelites that ruled in the Dark Ages, that were over Britain, right? So yeah, okay. Rome gave that lion his power, right? Okay. So, anyways, yeah. Which I'm sorry. What I meant to say is they got that power. Britain has the power of a lion. They're able to crush kingdoms too, and really, when you go into specifics, America came out of Britain, right? They came out of Britain. Oh, loving mother, you know, that's what I really wanted to say. Slovakia, you know, that's just something to add. It's just something extra. So yeah, the ancient the dragon pretty much represents ancient Rome, which was revitalized through America and NATO. And as you see today, America controls the world through the spirit of Rome. All right. So that dragon is really ancient Rome, which is really America. Okay, and they're very strong and they're very powerful. Okay. So, anyways, man, with that, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor to unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakaha Chodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Grey Millstone that rule on, that do teach one, that have taught me this truth. And also shalom to you elder bishops that are out there as well. May Bashim Yeshai be with you in the spirit. All right, so until next time, stay up in the spirit. Kwame Ashala and Abad Babal. Shalom.